It's very rarely going to be the case that life is getting in your way, that the universe is getting in your way, that something else outside of you is preventing your way, is preventing your path from unfolding. In well over a decade of life coaching, spiritual coaching, I have never had one single person in a private session or in a group program where it has ever been the case that something other than their own self is getting in the way. Fact. So what's really interesting is that sometimes you know you're getting in your own way, and sometimes, check this out, you're totally deluding yourself into thinking the problem is somewhere outside of you and you are getting in your own way and you don't even realize it. And this is like shocking and confronting, because I know, having been through both of those scenarios, how eye-opening it is to realize that something's not moving forward and you didn't realize it was you that was in the way. And it doesn't take a lot to scratch the surface to easily pinpoint what it is that you're doing, being, thinking, believing, feeling, that is at the root of you feeling stuck, inertia, stagnant, something not evolving, something not moving forward. Here is the deal. What you call life, what some people call the universe, the totality of reality, it is always moving forward. It is a constant evolutionary impulse that is expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. So if something in your life feels very stuck and is not in that natural, evolutionary, expanding, moving forward energy, then the likelihood is that somehow you're getting in your own way.
You're listening to Practical Spirituality with B, the podcast with spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic. I'm Bernadette Logue. You can call me B, and I'm excited to share this episode with you.
So in this podcast episode, we are going to dive into understanding why we get in our own way, how we do it, how to start pinpointing it, and how to start breaking through it. So let's begin with the general consensus that there is something that you want that you're getting in the way of. That's probably the common denominator for anyone listening to this episode. So here's the deal. You say you want XYZ. You feel in your heart that you want XYZ thing. Better health, loving relationship, find a partner, more friends, change job, more purposeful career, more abundance, more opportunity, more adventure, whatever it is. You think about it. Makes you feel good when you think about it. Now that is the part of you that's on board. So it will talk about it with friends and trusted people around you. That part of you will journal about it. That part of you likes to daydream about it. And that part of you really is all about it, like is aligned and is like feels the yes for that. But then there's another part of yourself. And this part is the part that's getting in the way. And FYI, this part will win hands down every single time because of your human being nature. We'll dive into why this is, we'll explain it more. This other part is the part that is not willing to receive what you want because there's some part of you that believes it's not safe or it's not good or there will be some price to pay or a consequence that you're not ready for, you're not up for. This other part of yourself is also not willing to have what you want because you're not willing to step up and do the things that need to be done to bring it about, to receive it and to maintain it, that is not willing to stand up in the power that you are to do that. And these two sides are in conflict. The part of you that wants it, the part of you that's not willing for it. And quite often, the part that's not willing for it is playing in the shadows, is being run by subconscious patterning, and it's hiding from your awareness, right? So sometimes you know you're doing it, but sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it, and it's playing out like a pattern, and you can't see the wood for the trees. You need objective insight to be able to see it in you, okay? This is the way that we get in our own way, we hold ourselves back, we self-protect, and what some people call self-sabotage. I also like to call it self-denial and self-deception, because we're busily saying, I want this and I want that, and I'm here to do this and I'm here to do that, and I really feel it in my heart. And it's really genuine, and it's very heartfelt, and it's usually very emotive, and it's very, very powerful. But on the flip side, the ego doesn't want to be exposed, doesn't want to be at risk, doesn't want to be vulnerable, doesn't want to admit that they don't know what needs to be done, doesn't want to reach out for help, isn't trusting. And underneath the ego is the subconscious, which has got one job: to keep you alive. And its job is to make sure that anything that looks or smells like danger, risk, uncertainty, and lack of safety is kept the heck away from you. So those two things, when we don't want to be wrong, we don't want to be at risk, we don't want to be exposed, we don't want to be vulnerable, we don't want danger, we don't want risk, we don't want uncertainty, that's life. Life is all those things. Life is vulnerability. Life is risk. Life is exposure. Life is being out on the edge. Life is being willing to be wrong. Life is asking for help. Life is getting out there and moving forward, right? And moving forward means outside your comfort zone. It means new territory. It is inherent. It is inherent that if you are in your soulful self and you are moving forward, then you are going to encounter all of those things. But it's the ego that says that's dangerous and risky. It's the subconscious that says that's unsafe. And it's that part of you that has you get in your own way. And in this case, that getting in your own way is actually your ego and your subconscious trying to do the most loving thing for you. Because often we look on the ego and the subconscious and I've got these annoying things that my ego is doing, or I've got these annoying things that my subconscious is doing. It's like, no, your ego is just trying to, keep a handle on this thing called life. And your subconscious is trying to keep you alive. So, no judgment and no hate for those beautiful parts of ourselves. But I'll tell you what I've seen, and it happens all the time. I see it really clearly in myself, and I see it really clearly and really quickly in clients when I'm sitting with them. And that is this. It is literally like watching two people in one body. You have the soulful self, and when the soul within you is connected in with what you're really here to do, your plan and purpose, and gets any airtime to talk about it, you will light up like a Christmas tree. You will get in conviction, you will be in like sovereign energy. Your face changes, your tone changes, your voice changes, your body language changes when you are on point talking about the thing that you love, the thing you want to do, the change you want to make, the thing you want to heal, what you want to do, where you want to go, who you really are. When you connect into that part of yourself, that is an entire energy that you embody. And I've seen people sit in session with me and in groups, and I've seen them flip-flop between these two energies, and literally their voice, their tone, their pace, their body language, everything changes between that soulful state when it's talking and the other state, which is the meek mind. And when we're in our meek mind, meaning we're in the risk and the uncertainty and our stories and our narrative and our fears and our limiting beliefs and our patterning, our conditioning, which is not who we are. We are the soulful self. We were born as the soulful self. It's powerful, it's strong, it's got conviction, it's sovereign, it's free. And then as we grow up, through the stages of our soul journey, what I call the 11 stages of your soul odyssey, you go through human being experiences which condition you, and you get distant and disconnected from that powerful soul self. She or he soul self is still there. That soulful self in you is still there. But the meek mind takes over. And when we get into the meek mind, it's like a mesmerizing, hypnotizing story. Our body language changes. our shoulders slump down, we start to look down, our eyes dart from left to right, our fearful voice comes out, we get doubting, we get mistrusting, we're unsure. And everything about that energy shifts from the soulful state to the meek mind. And it's the soulful self that says clearly, I want this, I'm about this is what I want to do, this is what I know I need. It's the intuitive knowing. And then there is the meek mind that's like, I'm not willing for that. I can't because I don't want to, because I'm afraid of, because I'm not taking action, because, and that could be a narrative of self-deception. We could just be making up stories. Self-denial. We don't think we're worth it. It's not, I'm not good enough for that. Who am I to want that? I don't know if I can do that. Judging ourselves, lack of worth. And then there's all the painful, it's too risky, what if this happens, what if that happens, all the things that keep us stuck. But when we're in the meek mind, it's like a deflated balloon. All of the air comes out, we lose sovereignty, we lose power. And then when we connect into the soulful self and we're talking about what we really want, there is a very visceral, strong, powerful energy that conveys through a person when they're in that state. So what we need to do in order to be able to get out of our own way is, first of all, recognize that we are in our own way. You can't change anything if you can't admit that you are in your own way. And it is painful to admit. I have had experiences where I have been in a total story about why I can't move forward in a certain area of my life and how it's totally not been about me. And then, lo and behold, of course, it was about me. And it's like, okay, the shame, the blame, the fear, all the stuff comes up. And you have to be vulnerable. And you have to admit that you have been in denial, or maybe not necessarily in denial, but you've just been asleep. You've been asleep to what you've been doing to yourself. And there's no judgment on it, because as human beings, we are designed to avoid anything that feels uncomfortable. We love to gravitate to the comfort zone, but life does not want you in comfort zone. Life wants you moving forward. And that does not mean you can't have comfort as you move forward, but it means you have to be willing to be vulnerable, to be authentic, to see things as they really are, to glaringly look at yourself, your life, what it is that you really want, what your soul came here for, and what you're choosing for yourself amidst all of that. Because no one is going to save you. No one is going to come and live your soul plan and purpose for you. If there is something that you really want, you have to get out of your own way, and only you can do it, right? You can get a lot of help to help you interrupt patterns, to help you identify patterns, but you have to be willing to admit that there's something going on in the first place. So once you admit that you're in your own way, the next thing is, really, what are you doing that is getting in your own way? And here are some really common things that we do. I want XYZ, but actually underneath, I am afraid of having it. Because, list off, what are you afraid of? If you got what you really wanted, what would be new responsibilities? What would you have to let go of? What is the worst case scenario if you were successful in getting what you wanted? What would happen if you failed? How would you be vulnerable? Do you feel ready to be the guardian of the outcomes that you want? Do you feel ready to receive and absorb into your life all the things that you want? What would have to change in order for you to be able to do that? Does it feel unfamiliar, uncertain, unsafe, or scary at any degree to have what you want? And if it does, there's your answer. Because some part of you will get in the way to make sure it doesn't happen, to self-protect. And the power of seeing this is this. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know what you're doing to yourself, you can't unknow it. So therefore, you can never again deny or deceive yourself into that it's just timing, or it's just somebody else in my way, or the universe is not giving me what I want, or any other self-defeating story that has you in victim mentality. The fact of the matter is if you really want something and it's a soulful, heart-led desire, then that is seated in your soulful self, and it's there for a reason. And it will bring up, when you focus on having what you want, it will bring up every single soul lesson that you have. Every single pain, trauma, past life stuff, this life stuff, it will all come up when you start to step forward toward what you want. The reason is this: it's the design for awakening. You are here as a soul for learning, healing, growth, and contribution. and it's all connected together. So when you move in the direction of what you really want, seated in your soulful self, it's going to bring up all the soul lessons that you came here to learn about your worth, about safety, about the spiritual truth of reality, about confidence, about abundance, about power, about freedom, about discipline, about trust, about whatever it is that your soul came to learn. It's like this perfect design. And as you move and break through those soul lessons, you will expand into alignment with what you really want. And that allows you to create and receive and absorb and enjoy it. So 2 things. Number 1 is, if you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to understand what my soul came for, my plan and purpose for being here, my contribution I'm here to make, and what are the soul lessons that I am having to face in order to move into that, then go to my website, Bernadette, Logue.com, and get my book, Your Soul Journey Simplified. It's $5. You can download it. There's 4 in-depth coaching videos that go with it, and it will take you through step by step a methodical, logical framework for you to see evidence in your own life of who you really are, what you came for, soul lessons, soul contribution, and exactly where you are in your soul journey right now by looking at the practical, tangible reality of your life experience. Okay, it's a really powerful method. The second thing is, I'm going to talk a little bit later in this episode about how you can work with me, because my gift is this. I can pinpoint how people get in their own way in like 5 seconds flat. Like if you come in session with me, you will not be able to hide. If you want to know what's going on, you will not be able to hide, because I am laser-like pinpoint fast at seeing exactly how people hold themselves back. So if you are in any kind of like, I don't know what's going on, stay tuned for later in this episode, because I'm going to tell you about how I'm going to be working with a small number of people in July coming up. So if you want to be one of those people, I'll give you details about how you can find out more. But what you want to do is this first step is understand that you are getting in your own way and how you're doing it. And once you see how you're doing it, there's a lot of love and compassion that we bring to that, because you realize that the ego or the subconscious mind, whatever part of you is getting in the way, is doing it because it loves you and it's trying to keep you safe. And that's all it is. And we just love all over that part of ourselves. And then we go, okay, get out of the way. Because your soul came here for very specific reasons. There's no time to be dilly-dallying around, staying stuck in a boring old stagnant comfort zone. Your life is not forever. You're not going to be on the planet forever. TikTok. Right? You gotta stand up and go, oh, I was born for something, right? I'm not random. No, I'm not random. I have soul plan and purpose. And I'm going to see that this thing I'm doing, getting in my own way, is part of what I've come here to learn, is to overcome this. And in my overcoming of this, I am life moving forward. I am the evolutionary impulse moving forward as my soul expresses through this body, this mind, this personality. And I am just a divine extension of source, God, universe, oneness, love. And my job and my human self is to awaken to this, to awaken to who I really am, to awaken to the way my small self is getting in the way, to learn, heal, and grow through that, so I can expand more into my soulful self, make my contribution, achieve evolution of my soul, contribute to the collective evolution of the whole. The second step, once you understand I am getting in my own way and here's how I'm doing it, the second step is interrupt the pattern. You've got to interrupt the pattern and send yourself on a new trajectory. And it doesn't have to be a massive change. A 1-degree shift from the trajectory you're on can radically change your life outcomes. So you want to say, okay, I'm running a pattern of my subconscious, my ego, my feeling state, and therefore my behavior, choices, actions, and results in my life. That's what I call your equation for creation. That's my mind mastery technique. I teach that inside my program, the Soul Odyssey program. If you want more information about that, you can go to my website, BernadetteLogue.com, Bernadette, Logue.com, Soul Odyssey program. In that, we go through all of the pattern interruptions, right? So changing your consciousness, changing your mindset, changing your emotional state, getting your values aligned, soul aligned, changing your goals into alignment with your soulful self. What you want to do with pattern interruption is this. Understand that you are just running a pattern. When you are not consciously aware and you're not consciously directing your life, you're running a pattern. And what you're running is the past. You're running your beliefs from the past, your thoughts that are coming from those beliefs, your feelings that are stemming from your beliefs and thoughts, all of which give rise to you feeling and behaving and choosing and acting in a certain way, which creates results. And it runs in a loop. It's like a loop that just plays over and over and over again until something comes to interrupt the pattern. Now, pattern interruption like this can happen because your soul stirs awake, so you have a massive soul awakening within. It can happen because a life event knocks you over the head, big crises, change, things outside your control happen, trying to wake you up. But you don't have to wait for those things. You can choose to interrupt yourself. And what that looks like is seeing things differently, shifting your emotional state, connecting with your soul power, and acting from that new empowered soulful self. To do that, people use all sorts of tools and resources to do all of those things, right? So mind interruption, mind retraining, emotional healing, emotional state, connect with your soul power, strong spiritual foundation, act from new energy, setting goals, getting in motion. Those 4 things, you can use all sorts of personal growth, spirituality resources to do that. I do that within my coaching and I do it within my program, which gives you everything you need A to Z. If you want more information about that, you'll find the Soul Odyssey program on my website. So to wrap this up, you were born because you are a soul and you incarnated with a plan and purpose, full stop, no debate. You are not random. Your life has a meaning. You are here to make a contribution and you are here to overcome certain soul lessons, full stop. It is possible for you to clearly identify what those things are. If you want help with that, jump over to my website and grab the book. When you get in your own way, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity, because the way you get in your own way is you're playing out your soul lessons. You're running a pattern that you came here to learn about and overcome. So there's no problem. It's a huge opportunity. And it's not difficult, but here is the catch-22 about it. You can't see the wood for the trees, which means you're too close to yourself to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, and how it's preventing you from having movement forward. I know that because I've been doing personal growth since I was about 18 or 19, and then I got into spirituality when I was in my early 30s, and now I'm 45. And I recently saw how I was getting in my own way, and it took someone outside of me helping me to see it. And that was after 25 something years of deep personal reflection. Okay, so sometimes you just can't see things for yourself, which is the benefit of having aware friends, aware family members, aware coaches, mentors, whatever it is that you want to draw upon. If you want to get out of your own way, I'm excellent at helping people do this. That's bread and butter for me, okay? And in July, as I mentioned, I'm going to open up 5 private one-on-one spaces for clients to come and work with me in the month of July. So there will be 4 weekly sessions, one-on-one privately with me on Zoom. So I have some clients I'm working with now. I'm only taking 5 more people in the month of July. I'm going to open that up to my community on email later in the month of June to get people enrolled to start at the beginning of July. If you're listening to this podcast, you are the first people to hear about this. So you have an opportunity. If you want to grab one of those spaces and secure it before I open it up to everybody else, you can DM me on Instagram, you can DM me on Facebook, or you can email me. It'll come directly to me, support@bernadettelogue.com. And just say the word freedom. Put freedom in the email subject line or put freedom in your DM, and I will send you all of the information about the coaching, what to expect, what the pricing package is, more information about how it works, and how to get started. I look forward to connecting with you. If you have any other questions, you can always email me, support@bernadettelogue.com. Remember this, it doesn't matter what you're doing to get in your own way. It is your soul's destiny for you to break through. That is why you are here. That is why your heart is beating. That is why you're breathing. That is why you came to the planet in the first place. Not for suffering, for breakthrough. Not for surviving, for thriving. Not for dilly-dallying around, but for letting your soul shine in its full expression. And getting in your own way is just one of the lessons that you come to learn And it's not about what you're doing to get in your own way. It's about what are you going to do when you realize that you're doing it.
Thanks for listening to Practical Spirituality with Bea. I'll talk to you next episode for more spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic.